My name's Adrian. I'm the CEO of My Social Practice. We're a digital dental marketing company, and I went super neck deep into this AI thing when ChatGPT launched a couple of years ago, and this has become kind of a really hot topic. It's changing lives. It's changing the way that the dental industry works and functions. And I hope that you'll really enjoy the presentation. I try and make this super fun and exciting and interesting, and I've got a lot of video and some cool stuff. So we're going to discuss 5 AI tools. Actually, there's more than 5 tools, but 5 AI um, kind of like concepts or ways in which AI is affecting dental management and marketing. I'm going to start this off by telling a quick story. So this is my sister, um, the cute girl on the left, her 4 kids, and Peter, her husband, and that's Peter on the right with their kids. So my sister's name's Danielle. She lives in France, and um, well, she lives in Spain now. She used to live in France. She lived in France for like 20 years. And if you've ever, if you know anything about France, if you've ever lived there, you are probably well aware that France is like not the place you want to start a business. It's the political structure, it's more of it leans left in terms of social programs. It's a great place if you need socialism or social programs, and there's no dig on that at all. But it's a really difficult place to start a business, to build a career. Um, Once you get a job, you can kind of retain a job for a long period of time, but it's hard to like find something that you really like. And anyway, the whole point is that she struggled. She's super, super creative. He's brilliant, but they just had always had trouble trying to find work that was something they enjoyed to do and that could, feed their family. So after like 17, 18 years living in France, they still hadn't got a home, and they were really frustrated. So in a very nepotistic way, I hired my sister to work for My Social Practice. And I hired her to be a copywriter because she's just a brilliant writer. She's really, really good. And I hired her. She started working at My Social Practice. She'd worked with us for maybe 2 or 3 years. They were able to buy a house. And the thing is we do a ton of copywriting at My Social Practice. So we have to hire copywriters all the time, and our team gets larger, and we got to hire people. And hiring a copywriter, they make pretty good money. A good copywriter will cost you anywhere from maybe 60,000 to $100,000 a year. That's for, kind of an entry level job to somebody who's had quite a bit of experience. And so, we were paying her well. We're still paying her well, and she can take care of her family, start putting some money away for retirement, get a house, all this kind of stuff. So here she is working along, doing well, and ChatGPT comes along. So if any of you have used ChatGPT, it probably blew your mind when you first saw it. It came out in November of 2022, the first version of it. And when I saw it and I saw how fast you could write copy using ChatGPT, it just blew my mind. And so we were like right at the point of maybe hiring another copywriter. So I thought, oh my gosh, we don't need to hire another copywriter. We can use this tool and we can write twice as much copy with the same team. That's what I was thinking. So I showed it to my sister and I said, look at this. And, where it used to take you 2 or 3 or 4 hours to write an article for a dentist or to write a service page for a website, you can write it in less than an hour and have it published. I mean, it just dramatically sped up the process. I was super excited about it, showing it to my sister, but what does she think? The first thing that comes to her mind is, I'm going to lose my job. She's thinking that a robot is going to replace her. Now, I wasn't thinking that at all, but that's the first thing that came to mind. And I share that story, and I since then, we didn't fire her. We are writing twice as much copy as we used to be with the same team. The efficiencies are dramatic. But I share that story because it's an illustration of what I've already started to see in the dental industry. As I've introduced AI topics to dental teams, office managers, there is a resistance to leveraging artificial intelligence because there's a fear around the unknown. And I don't think we can ignore the fact that some people are just worried that it might, change is difficult. It's just difficult. Nobody likes to go through change. So the 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 idea here is with AI is not to it's not going to replace people, but it's definitely businesses that leverage AI are definitely going to outperform and be more profitable than companies that don't. And so I'm hoping that in this presentation, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to show you ways in which you can speed up production, improve management processes, create marketing content quicker, and it's not necessarily replacing team members, but it is making them far more profitable. The goal is to make a business, to improve your profits, right? I mean, everybody's in business to be more profitable, to either raise the roof or drop the floor, right? Cut your costs or improve your revenue or increase your revenue. So that's what AI is supposed to do and what it is doing. So let's talk about what it is for a second. So artificial intelligence is a technology that basically allows you to prompt a software system, okay, and it will create some kind of an output. It can create language, it can create audio, video, code. It can really create about anything, but it's based on what are called prompts or prompting. And you've probably heard that word. Um, it's kind of becoming like a ubiquitous word. What prompting is. Prompting is the process by which you give an artificial intelligent agent direction. Okay. So the way that AI tools were developed or are being developed is based on what we know about the human brain. So we don't know exactly how the brain works. I mean, we kind of have ideas about how it works. We understand how like a particular synapse might fire and when it fires. We might even understand, how a cluster of synapses function. But how the whole brain functions together, we're not exactly sure. But we do know that it is a predictive model. So when I say peanut butter and you say jelly, you think jelly, right? So because our brains are predictive, they're just predictive machines. Well, not a machine, fleshy machine, right? So what we know about the brain and how it functions, an algorithm has been built, which we call a neural network. So this is a mathematical equation that is hyper complex. And I failed math all the way through school. So I have no idea exactly how it's built, but they call them neural networks. And they're built on a model which you can put information in and it works through that information and is able to predict uh, an outcome. And that's where generative AI comes from. So here's a contextual example. If you go to Google and you type into Google, Jack and Jill went up the hill, ... and you hit enter, okay? What you get is you get a YouTube. Oh, this is the screenshot of what I got. You get a YouTube video of the nursery rhyme. You get this people also ask section, which is right here. I don't know if you can't see my cursor, I guess. The people also ask section are phrases that are related to the phrase that you search for. So people that search Jack and Jill went up the hill, ... also search what does Jack and Jill mean in slang? What did Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch, right? So these are relatable questions that are often asked into Google. You get a Wikipedia article on the right, you got audio files. So basically all this information is content that has been created and tagged with what's called metadata. So if I create a video about Jack and Jill, when I load that video into YouTube, I tag it with some information that may not be in the video. It's just like information to let Google know what the video is about. And that metadata is what Google looks at in order to understand the content. So that when somebody does a search, Google looks at the search phrase, and then it looks all the metadata on all this content. It goes, oh, here's a video that's been tagged with Jack and Jill went up the hill, the nursery rhyme, and the search phrase is Jack and Jill went up the hill. So these two things must connect. And then they'll present my video as part of the search result. This is what we call search engine optimization. So if you've ever hired like a company like us to do search engine optimization, or a marketing company like us, what happens is that marketing company, their purpose is to create content like blog articles and websites and whatever it might be, social media content, and tag it appropriately so that when someone is looking for a dentist or an orthodontist in their area, your content shows up in the search result. And that's all done by metadata. Okay. So Google is this kind of connective tool where a search phrase is related to the metadata of content. But if you go into ChatGPT, because this is the framework or the UI for ChatGPT, and you type into the search bar, Jack and Jill went up the hill to ... What's it going to give you? Is it going to give you a bunch of content that's relatable? No, it just finishes the sentence. So ChatGPT's large language model, that's what they call it, is a predictive algorithm that understands human language. That's why if you've ever messed around with ChatGPT, it's like a little bit freaky because it's like acting like a human. So people get a little bit weirded out when they first play with it, but after you get used to it, it's just it's a really great tool. So anyway, so that's just some contextual information, a contextual example of how large language models like ChatGPT or Google Gemini, or there's a company called Perplexity, there's one called Jasper, Anthropic. There's a whole bunch of these. Elon Musk has just launched his large language model called Grok. So they're all being built and trained on just billions and billions and trillions of pieces of information. So after this funny John Oliver video, I'm going to show you some ways in which we're actually using AI to create content and change practice management and marketing.
And there are other exciting potential applications here too. For instance, in the world of medicine, researchers are training AI to detect certain conditions much earlier and more accurately than human doctors can.
Voice changes can be an early indicator of Parkinson's. Max and his team collected thousands of vocal recordings and fed them to an algorithm they developed, which learned to detect differences in voice patterns between people with and without the condition.
Yeah, that's honestly amazing, isn't it? It is incredible to see AI doing things most humans couldn't, like in this case, detecting illnesses and listening when old people are talking. And that is just the beginning. Researchers have also trained AI to predict the shape of protein structures, a normally extremely time-consuming process that computers can do way, way faster. This could not only speed up our understanding of diseases, but also the development of new drugs. As one researcher has put it, this will change medicine, it will change research, it will change bioengineering, it will change everything. And if you're thinking, well, that all sounds great, but if AI can do what humans can do only better, and I am a human, then what exactly happens to me? Well, that is a good question. Many do expect it to replace some human labour. And interestingly, unlike past bouts of automation that primarily impacted blue-collar jobs, it might end up affecting white-collar jobs that involve processing data, writing text, or even programming. Though it is worth noting, as we have discussed before on this show, while automation does threaten some jobs, it can also just change others and create brand new ones. And some experts anticipate that that is what will happen in this case too.
Most of the US economy is knowledge and information work, and that's who's going to be most squarely affected by this. I would put people like lawyers right at the top of the list. Obviously a lot of copywriters, screenwriters, but I like to use the word affected, not replaced, because I think if done right, it's not going to be AI replacing lawyers. It's going to be lawyers working with AI replacing lawyers who don't work with AI.
Exactly. Lawyers might end up working with AI rather than being replaced by it. So don't be surprised when you see ads one day for the law firm of Celino and 110-1011.
So, so the goal here, the idea is that a human being working together with an artificial intelligent agent creates higher impact and greater productivity. And for us, as working in the dental industry, and especially for you and your teams working in the dental practice, what you want is you want your team doing what they do best, which is building relationships with patients, especially those that are in the office. You don't want your team doing tons of data entry when they can be doing if data entry can be done by an artificial intelligent agent. So the idea here is that let's take everything off of the plate of a human being that can be done by an artificial intelligent agent, allowing them to build relationships, right? And to function as a human being and not a robot. Give the robot jobs and the human jobs. So let's talk about 5 ways, and I'll show you several tools here in which AI is affecting dental marketing and management. We'll start with imagery. So in the same way that you can program an AI agent to predict language, you can also predict pixels. So this is a photograph on the left of this person's grandfather, and they took that photo, which is obviously out of focus and old and degraded, and they ran it through an AI agent, and it was able to predict the pixels, right, and refine the photograph. And on the right is this person's grandfather. So you don't want to throw away any old photographs, even ones that are ripped and torn, because AI can go in there and it can actually predict backgrounds. It's pretty amazing what it can do. So I like to use, when it comes to like creating new imagery, I like to use a product called Midjourney. The website is midjourney.com, and it is pretty freaking cool. What it can do. So there are several AI image generators out there now, but Midjourney was one of the first kind of big ones to hit the market. So I want to play a game called AI or photo, and I'll give you a second to think, is this AI or is this a photo? And we'll see if you can get these right. So here are 3 photos. And I want you to, one of these is not a real person. One of them is made with AI. So is it the person on the left, in the center, or the right? And I'll give you a second to look at these and see if you can figure it out. And when I do this in a live presentation, this is actually quite funny, because I set you up and basically they're all made by AI. So it's a little more difficult to do in a webinar. Most people guess that the lady on the right is the one that's made by AI because her skin looks a little bit plasticky, especially her gums. Um, but they're all made with AI. All right, so is this AI or is this a photo? That is AI. Is this AI or is this a photo? That is AI. Is this AI or is this a photo? That is a photo. Is this AI or is this a photo? That is AI. And this one always gets people because I told it to make the image like an old Polaroid. So it actually put scratches on it. So you can see the scratches and like it's an old photograph, and kind of made it out of pulled the tones out of it and made it kind of yellowy. Crazy. Is this AI or is this a photo? This is AI. Is that AI or a photo? That is AI. AI or a photo? That is AI. Is this AI or a photo? That is AI. And the third tooth, I don't know what number that is to the right. I don't think that tooth is supposed to be there. You would know better than I, but I think that's an extra tooth. AI or photo? That is AI. AI or photo? That is a photo. AI or photo? That is AI. So those are kind of tough, aren't they? So here's a little video of me making some graphics in Midjourney. This is the prompt that I used. An up-close black and white photograph of a man's smile, dark skin tone, 8K, so the resolution, bokeh, which is a lighting technique, and octane render is a resolution technique. So when I go in there, it'll make 4 images at a time. So I hit go, and this is how fast it works. Boom. And then what I did is I reran it. I said, do it again. And then I did it one more. So there's my final. I did it one more time. Pretty crazy how clean that is, right? Amazing. So when you don't ever have to go to Adobe stock images anymore and pay for them. You can just go and make them, you know? So I want to give you some examples of prompts to give you kind of an idea of what you can make in Midjourney or any of these other tools. So at the top, I have the prompt that I used: paper cut style of a dental patient in a dental chair. And I got a whole bunch of images. This is just one of like several images I got. Colorful pixel art style, multiple dental logos, flat design. Weird dentist chair by Michael Finet. He's an artist. A one-line drawing of a dentist dancing while holding an iPhone. A robot standing in a dental practice, photograph, high resolution. Happy female dental patient relaxing in a dental chair. I won't read the whole thing, but I made this like, there's an artist called Yayoi Kusama. And then in this one, I gave it hex colors. Every color has a hex color in um, the uh, image generators know the hex colors. So I gave it some specific colors and it made, this is like Yayoi Kusama's style, the dots and things like that. A tooth dressed up like a superhero. I did a ton of these. Kind of fun. And then what I've done is I've made thousands and thousands of images, but I've put a lot of them in an Instagram account. So it's that QR code will take you to the Instagram account where I've got a lot of these dental AI art images. And the cool thing about AI, or at least right now, is that you can't copyright anything that you make with AI. It's pretty much free for anybody to use. So anything that's been made on this channel, you're welcome to download or use. There's some pretty wild stuff on that channel. I've got like gorillas and T-Rexes at the dentist and some other stuff, some kind of crazy stuff. But there's some fun stuff in there that you're welcome to use, and you can post those to your social media accounts. But I would encourage you to follow. I'm trying to put stuff in about every week or so. I put new images and stuff into the channel, but kind of fun. There's another tool out there called Photo Mirage. And what you can do with this is you can create a graphic in like Midjourney, or you can upload any photo that you have. And when you go into Photo Mirage, it gives you the ability to create movement in the photo. So I made this image of a toothbrush looking out the window, and then I gave it some movement and some music in Photo Mirage and created this. I think that's so funny. Here's another image that we made, and the smile whitening along the bottom, we added that with a graphic designer at my company added that after the fact. But the image of the girl and then the waterfall in the back were made in AI. But that would be a great TikTok, not TikTok, but make a Facebook ad or social media ad, right? Okay, so that's imagery. I would encourage you to use Midjourney. Go and take a look at it. There's a free version of it, I believe. I pay, I think, $30 a month for Midjourney. So it's not that expensive. Okay, let's move on to video. So about a year and a half ago, there was this meme that went kind of crazy. It was Will Smith eating spaghetti. I have no idea how this thing went wild because it's kind of weird. But on the top video are a whole bunch are videos that were made about a year and a half ago. And on the bottom, these were videos that were made by AI about 6 months ago. So you can kind of see the progression of how good the video production is getting with AI. So I'm going to play this. It's glitching out, guys. Let me play that one more time and see if it plays through. So I know it's kind of a weird video of eating pasta, but it just gives you an idea of like how good it's getting and how quick. So ChatGPT is owned by a company called OpenAI, and OpenAI has another product called Sora. It's not released yet. It's supposed to be released like in the next few weeks. They're testing it right now. But this is a text to video image generator. So rather than you having to like type in code or work in like a program to create a video, you could just say, make me a video about blah, blah, blah. And that product is called Sora. And there have been some videos released that were made by Sora. And I'm going to play a couple of them to show you just how good this is getting. So this is a text to video. So this is like, this particular video is like, show me a crab with a light bulb as a shell walking on the beach. I mean, you honestly can't tell that it's not real. It's like even when you get in to look at the grains of sand are moving from its legs, it's pretty wild. Here's another one. So that's Sora, S-O-R-A by OpenAI. This is an image generator from Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. It's called Meta Movie Gen, and you can go to their site and take a look at it. And this is, I believe, available. That just came out like within the last few weeks. But this is a video that was made by AI, little hippopotamus swimming. These videos are glitching out a little bit. I'm going to play them twice just so that it renders properly so you can kind of see it. So this is all text to video. Here's another one. This is down at the bottom, it has the actual prompt. It says a woman DJ spins records on a rooftop in LA. She's wearing a pink jacket and giant headphones. There's I can't read because I've got the chat box over the top of that. Can't see the whole prompt, but anyway, there's a cheetah or a leopard. Is that a leopard or a cheetah? Cheetah, I think so. To the woman, background is a cityscape. So let me play this. Now this had audio on it, but when I recorded it, it wasn't able to pick up the audio. But that's the video that was made. There's a question from Joseph that says, "Are there any privacy protection for people?" So I think, Joseph, I think what you're asking, if I understand your question, it has to do with, can people make videos like of other people? Like can you make a video of a person that you know, a real person, and then play it off as if it's a real, it's a real video. There are tons of legal precedent right now in the being developed about this. Everybody's freaked out about it, and rightfully so. That people will be creating imagery that's not real and playing it off as if it's real, and also basically using deep fakes to take advantage of other people. And so there's quite a bit of legal precedent being developed right now, but the direction is that, yeah, there's going to be privacy protection stuff put in place. Facebook and Google have both announced that they're going to start labeling all AI generated images and videos so that we know that they're AI. And there are lawsuits like crazy right now of people who have created imagery of like actors, famous people, and played it off as if it was real, and they're all being sued. So the direction is to kind of clean that up, but we're literally on the cutting edge, or the front edge of all this happening, and so a lot of that precedent's being developed as we speak. But generally, across the board, everybody wants this to be we don't want to create deceptive. I mean, this can be deceptive, right? Because it's just so good, but everybody's really concerned about the privacy protection. So a lot of that's coming into play. I mean, the announcement of Facebook and Google basically labeling AI images and videos in the search results and in social media has been announced like in the last few weeks, like in the last 2 or 3 months, I think. So it's a good question. Here's another tool. It's called fly-throughs. And basically what this tool does is you can take a cell phone and you can run a cell phone through somewhere, right? And you can just kind of hold it and walk it through. And then you take that video and you run it through a stabilization tool. And it will make it look like it's a drone, kind of like this. These guys were like holding it and kind of like swooping their cell phones around. But it basically creates what's called a fly-through. So if you think about like creating an office tour and having to have somebody come in with like a stabilization camera, or something like that, you don't need to do that anymore. You can just take your cell phone, you can walk through your office, run it through fly-throughs, and it'll take all the movement and the jitteriness out of it. You can do office tours like that. Here's another tool that's really cool. It's called HeyGen, HeyGen, and it's an avatar creation tool. And I've just got a couple of videos about this that are kind of interesting.
I just had one of those moments that happen sometimes in your life where you're just so mind blown at like the advancement of technology and how quickly it's moving. They just announced this mind blowing technology called Video Translate. At the end of this clip, you're gonna hear my voice in Spanish, and I didn't record that audio, right? So it's gonna clone my voice. It's gonna use deepfake technology to move my lips, and then it's going to accurately translate the text. This is now available to you. You record it once, you record it in your original language, and then you can translate it into the other languages with a single click. Acabo de tener uno de esos momentos en la vida en los que te quedas asombrado por el avance de la tecnología y su rápida evolución. Acaban de anunciar esta tecnología alucinante llamada Video Translate. Suena muy básico.
So, hey Jen, so what he's saying there is you basically record 2 minutes speaking to the camera, and then it takes that video file, and then and then it saves it. And then what you can do is you can just write a script and say, make me a new video with this script. And so my business partner, Blake Hadley here, did the same thing that this kid did. And he did, so this is not the original, this is not a video, this is the replicated video. He never shot this. He shot a 2-minute video and then gave it a script and told it to make this video.
Hi, I'm Blake Hadley, president and co-founder of My Social Practice. I hope you are enjoying my presentation today about digital marketing. You may or may not know.
Now his mouth moves a little funky in this, and he recorded this a few months ago. Since then, the tool, the HeyGen tool, has gotten better and better. Like you can almost not even tell. Like the mouth movements are so good that you almost can't even tell. Here's him in French, same video.
Président et cofondateur de My Social Practice. J'espère que vous appréciez ma présentation d'aujourd'hui sur le marketing numérique.
And there's Mandarin.
大家好，我是布莱克哈德利 Blake Hadley My Social Practice 的总裁兼联合创始人。我希望您喜欢我今天关于数字营销的演讲。你可能注意到，也可能。
So there are several products out there that do this. HeyGen, Be Human is another. The way that this could be used in the dental industry, I have a lot of doctors will create like tips and tricks videos or dental education videos. We've, in the social media realm, we've had lots of practices that have done that. They'll shoot a video every week and then they'll post it. This is a really, really quick way to shoot one video, and then you can just write a quick script and it just spits it out in like 30 seconds and you got another video. For dental consulting, for anybody that's doing dental consulting work, if there's anybody on the call tonight that's a dental consultant, this is great for training videos. If you're creating content or scripts for your dental practices to train them on how to answer the phone, or whatever tools or whatever skills you're trying to train on. Here's another one. That Synthesia is another one that does the same thing. Joseph asked, on the website, can the viewer choose the language? So I think what you're asking, Joseph, is if you make a video using HeyGen and you record it in English and then you publish that, can the viewer choose to see it in a different language? No, you'd have to produce the original video in the language that you want it. But what you can do is you can produce one video in English and then you can replicate it for any language you want. And it spits that stuff out in seconds. So you can do English, French, Cantonese, Chinese, Vietnamese, whatever. And you've got all those videos, and then you would publish those to whatever distribution model you want. If you want to publish it on Facebook or in your website or whatever, but you would have the different languages with the video recorded in those languages. But you, as the creator, can choose, not as the viewer, but as you as the creator of the video, you can actually create them in whatever language you want. Synthesia, hopefully that answered your question. Synthesia is another one that does the same thing. I just talked to Penny Reed and Jacqueline at eAssist, and they're using this product to do tons of educational stuff. So anyway, cool product, Synthesia. But there's a lot of these that are kind of coming out now, and they're really easy to build. Marketing kits and all sorts of stuff, or marketing avatars, voices, whatever. Here's another one. This is done in Synthesia. Whoops, didn't play. There we go.
Hi Fred, I'm Joshua from Distributions Logistics. I heard you're expanding in the Midwest. We helped companies like B&G and Honey Grocery cut costs by 20% and...
That's not a real human being. That's an AI agent. That's done in Synthesia. All right, let's move on to music.
In the 3 months since ChatGPT was made publicly available, its popularity has exploded. In January, it was estimated to have 100 million monthly active users, making it the fastest growing consumer app in history. And people have been using it and other AI products in all sorts of ways. One group used them to create Nothing Forever, a non-stop live streaming parody of Seinfeld. And the YouTuber Grande used ChatGPT to generate lyrics answering the prompt, write an Eminem rap song about cats, with some stellar results.
Cats, 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 always on the prowl. They're sneaky and sly with their eyes on the goal. They're the kings of the house, they rule with a purr. Eminem loves cats, can't you tell from his verse? They're independent, they do what they please, but they always come back. When you have some teens, they rub against your legs, they purr in your ear. They're the best companions, they're always near. Meow, meow, meow. They're the kings of the house. They're running the show. They don't need a spouse.
That's not bad, right? From they always come back when you have some cheese to starting the chorus with meow, meow, meow. It's not exactly Eminem's flow. I might have gone with something like their paws are sweaty, can't speak, furry belly, knocking shit off the counter already, mom's spaghetti, but it is pretty good. My only real gripe there is how do you rhyme king of the house with spouse when mouse is right in front of you?
So we're using a tool called Suno.ai. There's a whole bunch of different music generators out there, but we're starting to create songs about the dental industry. And we've got a whole bunch of them created. I'm going to play a couple clips from 2 of them. This is called Dental King.
It's time for jokes. Here we go. I won a dental award, see? It's just a little plaque. Tell my tooth to hang on, I'll fill it in when I get back. I like to hang with my dentist, cause we Netflix and drill. My money's in my mouth, cause I have a gold fill. You've got an appointment, see you at 2:30. Which teeth should I brush? Doctor ones who want sturdy. He said, you need a crown. I said, no, it's no thing. Thanks for the offer, I'm already a king.
That's a whole song. I'm gonna jump through them a little quick because we're running out of time, and I don't want to keep you guys too long. Here's another one that we created, a cowboy's tale.
I've been telling my friends at the church potluck that I went to the dentist in my pickup truck. I said no to braces cause it's not my style, but he sat on his tractor fixing me with a smile. He poured me a whiskey and boy was it strong. Then he grabbed his guitar and he played me a song. Son, have you ever heard of Invisalign? Man, I reckon that you're in for an awesome time. We're gonna get your smile looking mighty fine. Here's your sign, get yourself Invisalign.
All right, so we've made about 7 or 8 of these songs now, and you're welcome to use them, to share them, to just it's so, these are weird because it's so hard when you start creating content for dentists. It's so hard to make dentistry like interesting. I mean, let's be honest, it's not everybody's thinking about dentistry outside of us in the industry, right? So we come up with these kind of wild and crazy songs. I've got a whole bunch of them, but we've put them all on a blog post, and that QR code will take you to the blog post, and you can listen to them and you can share them. All the YouTube links are in there, and share them on your YouTube channels or whatever. But we've got several more that are in production. We're doing one about braces. We've got one coming out about clear aligners. We've got one that's a debanding song. So if you do ortho and you want to when the patient's getting their bands off, they take their braces off, then we have them sing. There's some songs in there that they can sing to, some debanding songs. I'm doing for teeth whitening, so we're going to keep adding them to this blog post, so you can always come back to that blog post and listen to the music. All right, those are all created by Suno.ai, Suno.ai, and all right, let's move on to copywriting. So there's 3 tools that I've used. I really like Perplexity. Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Gemini are my top 3 faves. And when you get into copywriting, if you haven't yet played around with ChatGPT, I encourage you to use ChatGPT, or there's a free version of it. You should mess around with it and kind of get used to it. It's freakishly mind-blowing when you use it the first time. But there's like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, there's a topic called prompting, which is the way in which you prompt, how you tell an AI agent to give it directions so that you get what you want out of it. And so there's a really kind of specific model for this. I wrote an article called Mastering AI Prompting for Dentists, the Powerful WHAC Method. WHAC stands for Who, What, Why, Audience, Constraints. If you're as old as I am, you remember WHAC in the 80s was not good. It was bad if you were WHAC, but now we're flipping that on its head and we're saying WHAC is good. It's good for prompting. So what I mean by who, what, why audience is the model by which you tell the agent to give you what you want. So here's an example. This is Perplexity. Perplexity is just like ChatGPT, but I like it because there's some additional functionality to it, and I'll show you that. But I'm going to show you how you prompt correctly. So this is a little video, and I'll kind of just explain it as I play the video. So at the top here, I say, there's my prompt, okay? And what I'm writing is, I'm going to tell it who it is. So when you say who, it's who are you, okay? You have to tell the AI who it is, not who you are, but who it is supposed to be. So in this, I say you are the office manager, or you are an office manager named Tiffany, and you work at a dental practice called the Amazing Dental Practice. That's who you are, who the agent is. What are you doing? You're writing a blog post for your website. Why? I'll get to your question, Lingyi Chen, in just a second, okay? Why? Your practice wants to provide the very best customer satisfaction, and there's the whole prompt. You can read that section there. I can't read everything because let me see if I can get my thing to move over a little bit. Okay, here we go. Your practice wants to provide the very best customer satisfaction, which is why you've always invested in advanced technologies and equipment. It's not uncommon for patients to try and get a hold of the practice after hours or on weekends to gather information or schedule appointments. Unfortunately, this requires the patients to wait until the next business day to get a response. In order to provide immediate assistance for your patients, rather than sending them to a voicemail, leave a message, you now are encouraging them to use your AI web chat, which has been trained on your practice information, allowing it to answer questions and schedule appointments 24/7. That's the why. So who, what, why. Then the audience is the audience for your blog post, or your current patients as well as potential patients around your practice. And then the what, or the constraints, excuse me, are, the constraints are, I'd like you to make a post positive, exciting as you announce this new technology. No longer do your patients have to wait until the next business day to get an answer. Your new AI assistant is more capable. At the end of the post, put a link to your homepage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now that's the prompt. It's a really long prompt, okay? But what you'll find is that, because some people read that and they go, why not just write the whole article? Why not just write the article? Because what you'll find is that the refinement of taking something that's that rough and getting it to the final draft, AI can do it much, much quicker. So I give it enough of a prompt and I hit go, and it just writes it, and it's like 98% there, okay? So here's my article. Exciting news, 24/7 assistance now available at the Amazing Dental Practice. At the Amazing Dental Practice, we're always striving to provide the best possible experiences, blah, 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 around-the-clock support, instant answers, real convenience, why we've embraced AI, try it out today. That is all good to go. So if that prompt in the beginning is close enough to what, if it's written well enough, you get something that is like almost exactly what you want. Now, the reason I like Perplexity is once you get the article done, it gives you additional questions. And I clicked on one of those questions down at the bottom. So it'll give you like additional things that you could do to kind of beef up the article. And it's doing this because Perplexity looks at your prompt, but it also sources stuff that's on the internet. And so I said, what I like to do when I do an article, like a blog article or a service page on a website, is like to have FAQs at the bottom. And so with Perplexity, it gives you the question, I mean, it gives you FAQs that you can add at the bottom. So I said, I like this one, but I want you to shorten it, because I clicked on one of the questions, the FAQs at the bottom. And I said, shorten it. So it shortened it up for me. And it gave me an FAQ answer. So it's really easy to use. I would encourage everybody to go and take a look at Perplexity. There are tons of training videos on YouTube that'll show you how to use it. There is a free model for it as well, and then they have a paid version. This QR code here is to a set of prompts that I've created that will basically, all you do is you just copy the prompt and paste it into either Perplexity or ChatGPT or Google Gemini. And you can just change out some of the information in the prompt. You can just put the name of your practice in, the name of whatever it might, your city, but you keep the prompt the same. I've already written the prompt in a way in which it will give you what you want to get. But there's a service announcement prompt in there. So if you have a new service that you're offering, or you got a new piece of technology, I wrote one specifically to write a blog post about a dental implants, or a service page about dental implants, an upcoming event, a guest blog post. And I also wrote a prompt in there to help you respond to a Google review in a HIPAA compliant way. So if you download this, all those prompts in there, you just grab them and you can use them, and it'll help you get kicked off in learning how to prompt correctly. But I've written these all in that WAC model that I was going through. All right, so that's copywriting. Let's move on to the last thing, natural language processing. That's what NLP stands for.
Hey, ChatGPT, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going?
I'm doing great. So I would like you to function as a translator. I have a friend here who only speaks. Hey, ChatGPT, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going?
I'm doing great. So I would like you to function as a translator. I have a friend here who only speaks Italian, and I only speak English. And every time you hear English, I want you to translate it to Italian. And if you hear Italian, I want you to translate it back to English. Is that good?
Perfetto.
Mark, io mi chiedo, se le balene potessero parlare, cosa ci direbbero?
Mike, she wonders if whales could talk, what would they tell us?
They might ask, how do we solve linear equations?
Potrebbero chiederci come risolviamo le equazioni lineari.
Sicuramente sì.
Certainly, yes.
Great. Looks like it works.
All right, so that was a video that came out last year from ChatGPT or OpenAI about ChatGPT, kind of showing off some of the natural language processing capabilities of ChatGPT. So basically, what we have now is we have a tool that can actually have human-like conversations. Okay, there's a piece of software that can understand language and have a conversation. So if that's possible, what can you do with that, right? Like how can that influence dental practice management, marketing, and what we do in this industry? And the first thing that came to my mind is web chat. Okay, 48% of the population are millennials and Gen Z, and they do not make phone calls. I've got 4 kids that are millennials and Gen Zs. Making a phone call is like the most difficult thing for them to do. I don't know, it's weird, right? I've probably failed as a parent, but they don't use their phones to make calls. They chat or they text, right? And quite a few studies have shown that consumers prefer web chat. Okay, when they go to a website of a business, about 2/3 would prefer to just chat with somebody rather than having to make a phone call. The problem that we have in the dental industry is less than 20% of practices have web chat on their websites. And why is that? Why is it that dental practices don't want to put web chat on their websites? And the answer is nobody has the time to manage it. At my social practice, we put web chat on a whole bunch of websites. And it wasn't an AI chat like I'm going to show you here in a second. It was just a regular web chat widget that allowed somebody to basically chat, right? Well, once you put web chat on your website, all of a sudden you are inundated with chats. You just get tons of people interacting through chat because that's how they prefer to interact. And the practices are like, turn this off. We don't have the bandwidth to manage it. If they're not going to call the office, then we don't want to deal with it. Now, I understand the response to that because, yeah, I get it, right? A lot of the practices are just, teams are set up to handle phone calls, not chat. Okay, it becomes intrusive, becomes obnoxious, and there are just not many solutions out there to solve the problem. But the problem is this: consumers want it, practices can't manage it. They don't have the time to do it until now. So I'm going to skip through a couple of these slides and just explain them because I don't want to take too much more of your time. But the way that web chat is being handled currently is practices, one, they just don't put on the site. They just ignore it. Like if somebody's not going to call the office, we're not going to deal with it. Other practices are creating forms. So you go to the site, you click on the chat, and it's a form. It's not web chat. Okay. Web chat is immediate, on-demand support. That's what it's supposed to be. Somebody's supposed to go to your website and they chat and they get an answer right then. That's what it's supposed to be. Because practices can't provide that, or it's difficult, they fake it, right? And they have companies that sell products that are really not web chat. They're just forms masquerading as web chat. Okay, that's not an option. That's not a great option. You can install a chat bot. We've all worked with chat bots. They're these annoying decision trees that you get stuck in, and this crazy funny video is an example of what a chat bot can do to your life.
Okay, I'm almost finished setting up your account. Eric Wareheim. But I have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
Do you live in a hole or boat?
Neither.
Okay, I didn't get that. I think you chose boat. Is that right?
No.
Okay, let's move on. Is your boat a C-class licensed boat, or is your boat used for commercial fishing? Okay, I think you've chosen commercial fishing. Now, I'm going to need your boat's name.
What is going on here?
Okay, I think you've said target. Is this correct?
What? No.
Just to make sure I've gotten all the information correct, I'm going to need you to confirm a few more things.
I need some help, please.
Your name is Eric Target. Is this correct? Okay, I'll go ahead and make that change. Great, I've made the change. Your wife's new legal name is Target. Is this okay?
No.
Great, we're sending her the following VHS tape. You've chosen Pizza Boy.
Excuse me, my wife can't get this in the mail.
Pizza. All right, we've all not exactly had that experience, but you know what I'm talking about. It's calling and getting stuck. You just have a simple question and you get stuck in this ridiculous phone tree. Yeah, anyway, it's an attempt to provide a web chat solution that's not really web chat, right? It's not immediate on-demand support. It's just like some kind of like funky system that doesn't work like it needs to. There's also hiring outsourced live chat is another option that practice. So they're hiring a sales floor somewhere, right? And they have that sales floor do the same thing. They manage their web chat. And what I have found is that, and I've looked at a lot of these systems, is that hiring an outsourced live chat agent most often because these agents, they're not manning one chat. They're usually manning dozens of chats at a time. And this is a little video of me chatting with somebody, is that they take forever. It takes 20, 30, 40 seconds for them to respond to a question, but also they have almost no information about the practice because they're jumping from this practice's chat to this practice's chat to that practice's chat. So they don't have like information on insurance, they don't have information on the doctor, and they can't source it quick enough. And so what happens is these conversations kind of like fall to the lowest common denominator, which is the agent just gets the name, email, and phone of the person that they're chatting with, and then hands that off to the practice and tells the patient, hey, somebody from the practice will call you back. So it just becomes like a lead form taking solution. It's not immediate on-demand support. So with the technology of natural language processing or conversational AI built on ChatGPT, we now have a technology that can solve the web chat issue. So what we've done is we've built an agent, okay, and I'll give you guys all the opportunity to kind of play with it and test it out. But we've built it on ChatGPT. On top of that, we fine-tune that to the practice's information, an unlimited amount of information. We could take 10,000 pages of documents and processes and resources and bios and everything about the practice and train that agent, that AI agent, on all that information. Then what you do is you integrate that into a web chat window so you can add that to a website. So now what you have is you basically have ChatGPT trained on your practice's information, and it's now on your website, and it can have human-like conversations. So here's a little video of me interacting with, this is a pretend practice, and her name is Annie, but I said, hi, Annie, I just got into a car accident. I think I hit my mouth. I think I may have broke one of my teeth. Annie says, I'm so sorry to hear about your accident. Let's get you taken care of as soon as possible. May I have your full name and date of birth to look us up in your system? And I said, well, before I schedule an appointment, I need to know if you take my insurance. I can help with that. Could you please provide me with the name of your insurance provider? So it's having this totally like normal conversation. I say Aetna. It says, great news. We're going to work with Aetna. Let's find a convenient time for you to come in. May I have your full name and date of birth to look you up in our system? And I say, well, before I schedule anything, I want to know a little bit about the dentist. So Annie says, oh, okay, of course. Well, we have two dentists. One's John Bonafide, practice here at Tufts. We have another dentist, Samantha Gonzalez, graduated at Harvard, blah, blah, blah. Both are highly skilled. All the information, this is all information that we trained this agent on. These are fake dentists, but whatever. Then I say, how much will an appointment cost? Well, the cost of your appointment will depend on a specific treatment you need. Well, since you mentioned you have a broken tooth, it'd be best to have a consultation first, blah, 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 blah. So this is infinitely better than all the options that people have had for web chat. So now what you can do is you can actually provide a better user experience for your patients on your website. And it'll gather everything. It'll gather everything about the patient, and it'll actually even then schedule appointments because you can tie it to your patient management system. So on here's an example of how good these things can get. And I'm almost done. I know I've gone over my hour-long time, but let me just show you a couple more things. So on the left is a video of an AI agent that we trained that handling the insurance cost concern, which is everybody gets this question, right? Like multiple times a day, probably. And then on the right, we've trained it to handle the question in a slightly different way. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I want you to understand how fine-tuned these agents can get. On the left, we've just said, answer the questions directly, yes or no, and don't try and like lead the conversation. Don't use any sales capabilities. Don't spin the conversation. On the right, we've given it some sales training. Okay, so let me play this for you. All right, so I say, hello, do you take Cigna? No training. It's just going off the information. We certainly file with Cigna, but please note we're currently out of network with Cigna. However, we can still assist you with your dental needs. Would you like to schedule an appointment? And we can provide more detailed information, blah, blah, blah. So they don't take Cigna. So we can file with Cigna, but we don't take Cigna. Okay. Now, if you were to talk to anybody in the dental consulting industry, they would say, well, this is correct information, but it's not the way to handle that question. So we trained Annie, this agent, we call it Annie, on some sales skills. So here's what it did. Hello, do you take Aetna? I'm happy to help you with that, but first, could you please let me know who I have the pleasure of speaking with today? My name's Tyler. Nice to meet you, Tyler. We can work with any insurance company. Is there something specific that made you reach out today? Perhaps you're looking to schedule an appointment. Now, that is a much better way to handle and dodge the no, we don't take Cigna issue, because this particular model would have said, well, yeah, we can work with any out-of-network insurance company, and kind of dodge it and like lead that patient by answering the question appropriately, but then also asking a follow-up question to regain control of the conversation and ask more about why they were reaching out to the practice. That's the proper way to handle that call. This is when you get into like phone skills training and so forth. This is what you want your front desk to be able to do to get every opportunity possible into the practice. Okay. Now it depends on what you're going for, but I'm showing you this because I want you to see that these are getting so good that they're actually almost better than humans. This is a dental implant cost concern. On the left, it's untrained. On the right, it's trained. So how much do implants cost? The cost of dental implants can vary widely depending on several factors, including the specific needs of a patient and the dental practice location. To provide you with an accurate cost estimate, I recommend scheduling a consultation, blah, 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 blah. Can I use my insurance for that? Before we proceed, could you let me know the name of your insurance provider? This way I can give you more specific information about coverage for dental implants. Delta Dental, great news. We're in network with Delta Dental. Many insurance plans offer some coverage for implant procedures, but specifics can vary. Would you like me to check an available time to schedule with Dr. Ludlow? Sure, that's fine. Thank you. To find a convenient time for your consult, I need to collect some basic information. It just goes through the process of scheduling an appointment. So it answered the questions directly and honestly, and more matter of fact like on the trained version. How much do dental implants cost? I'd be happy to help with that question, but first, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today? Get their name, use their name in the conversation. It builds trust. Nice to meet you, Tyler. We can definitely take good care of you. Can I get your telephone number in case we're disconnected? Now we got the lead data in a very natural way, so we can call them back. Thank you for sharing that, Tyler. Now, regarding dental implants, the cost can vary based on your specific needs and type of implant. However, we do offer affordable payment options and a membership plan that includes discounts on dental work. Would you like to schedule? So we taught this one to bring up patient financing options because we're thinking this practice might have patient financing or membership plans. So you can get it trained really well. Okay. So basically you got ChatGPT, you fine tune it with information about the practice, you integrate that with the web chat system, and then you can train it on a conversational framework, right? You can give it some sales training. The next thing you can do is connect it to your phone system. So now what you've got is you've got an agent that can handle your web chat and your phone calls. No need to send phone calls to voicemail anymore. This is a phone call that's not been trained. This is just a straight vanilla, no sales training call with Annie.
Hello, thanks for calling Annie Dental. I'm Annie, our AI assistant. How can I help you today?
Hey, I was just curious when you guys close, what the latest appointment is that I could schedule?
Our last appointment of the day is at 5:00 p.m. Is there a particular date you have in mind?
No, just kind of in general. I work in the afternoons, but that's okay. Could we do a morning time? I'd probably just need to do something before 10.
Sure, we can definitely find a morning appointment before 10:00 a.m. May I have your first and last name along with your date of birth to look you up in our system?
So
all right, so I'll
Hello,
stop there.
thanks.
I'll stop there. So basically the agent You can tell it's not a human. I mean, it's got a little bit of a robotic voice. There's a little bit of a slight pause, some delay in there. That's normal for AI. It's getting better though. But that agent is working off the same training. It's got the Chat GPT natural language processing. We've fine-tuned it to a particular practice with all that practice's information. And then you've got, on top of that, you've got it connected to the patient management system. So it's going to, in real time, it's going to look up open slots, find a slot that the practice would allow it to schedule to. You know, we can like set that all up in the beginning, and it'll find open slots and it'll schedule the appointment and then notify you that the appointments are made. These are the kinds of technologies or the solutions that are now coming online because we have natural language processing. Okay. So
Hello, thanks for
whoops, and here's another call really quick.
Hello, thanks for calling Annie Dental. I'm Annie, our AI assistant. How can I help you today?
Hey, I just wanted to try and schedule an appointment.
I'd be happy to help with that. Have you visited us before?
No, this would be my first time.
No worries. We'll guide you through the process. What's your full name and date of birth?
It's Tyler Anderson, and then my date of birth is January 1st, 1999.
Thank you. Could you also provide your phone number and email address? This will...
Anyway, I won't play that. We're over time already. So, but what you can do with that is these agents, they have the ability, I mean, you can change voices. There's 100 different voices you can use, and then you can tweak it one way or another. So that's my presentation.